Hello, dear students. Today we'll talk about a chapter from First Flight textbook, The 100 Races, Part 1. Let us see the introduction first. The text is from First Flight and it's lesson number 5, written by Elfsor Easter. Now, this lesson, The 100 Races Part 1, is about a girl named Wanda who claims to have 100 races. Her classmates made fun of her because what she claims is in contradiction to the fact that she was always seen wearing the same dress. Her classmates found her name to be funny. It was because everyone had easier names than Wanda Petronsky. Her name was different because she was a Polish immigrant who had come to an American town with her family. She was poor and did not have many friends. She was quiet and was always seen sitting in the corner of the classroom. The truth about the 100 races unveiled when she submitted her 100 drawings in a drawing contest. They were the same 100 races she used to talk about. All of them were immensely beautiful. Now, let's see the story in a nutshell. As we all know, the story is about a quiet and a shy girl named Wanda Petronsky, a Polish immigrant who had come to America with her family. She attended school with American children who found her name to be strange and probably the weirdest in the classroom. This is because they all had easier names. She was poor and was always seen wearing a faded blue dress. Her classmates teased her because she claimed to have 100 dresses all lined up in her closet, albeit always being seen wearing one. The ones who mainly teased her were the two best friends, Peggy and Maddie. Peggy was the most famous girl in school, while anyone barely knew Wanda. Peggy and Maddie used to wait for Wanda before school, even if it meant getting late. Maddie, a poor girl herself, did not like when Peggy made fun of Wanda. She feared that she could be the next person to be teased. She wanted Peggy to stop making fun of Wanda, but could not summon courage to face her as she feared she would lose her best friend. However, Peggy's intention was never to hurt Wanda, but she was curious as to why Wanda had to lie that she had 100 dresses in her closet. The truth about the same 100 dresses unveiled on the result day of the drawing competition. The room was lined with 100 drawings portraying different dresses, each so beautiful. That day she truly had 100 dresses all lined up, but in the classroom. At that moment, Peggy and Maddie, who were awestruck, realized the theory of 100 dresses and felt guilty about having treated her badly. So now we'll talk the chapter in details. This story, The 100 Races, it revolves around a girl named Wanda Petronsky and her classmates Peggy and Maddie, who made fun of her. The plot of the story opens up on Monday. Even Peggy and Maddie did not notice that Wanda was not present. These were the girls who began all the teasing. Wanda generally used to sit in the corner of the classroom where the not so academically brilliant and loud guys sat. It was that part of the classroom which was the dirtiest, but Wanda was not like those boys, and still she was sitting there. She was silent to the extent that nobody had ever seen her laugh. So, this is the nature of Wanda. Since Wanda was nothing like those boys, no one ever understood that why she sat in that corner. There were only guesses that it is because she came from Bogans Heights and her shoes were usually dirty with all the mud. So these were all the guesses made by her friends. People hardly noticed her in the classroom as she was silent and alone all the time. It was only before or after school hours when groups of kids used to wait for her to mock her that they thought of her. Some used to wait even at the cost of getting late for school. So this is how they were getting fun, and so they used to wait for her. The fact that Wanda was not present on Tuesday as well got unnoticed. But it was on Wednesday when Maddie and Peggy noticed her absence. It was also then when they waited before school to make fun of her, but instead ended up getting late because she did not show up. She did not come. Peggy was the most famous girl who wore good and tidy clothes. She sat with the toppers of the class. No one ever got curious about why Wanda was no longer coming to school. All they cared was they could not make fun of her. Wanda was a Pole. Pole is a term commonly referred to commonly referred for the Polish people. So Wanda was a Pole who had emigrated to America. Her fellow classmates thought that Wanda Petronsky was a strange name because they had simpler names, they had American names, and except one guy whose name is Willie Bounce, except his name, they found all the names very comfortable, and one more name that is of Wanda Petronsky. Except these two names, all the names were so simpler and so easier. So they used to make fun of her because of her strange name. They found her name to be long and unfamiliar. Now it is the difference of the countries, due to that they are finding this name very unusual and very strange. This shows that those children didn't understand diversity. Now they are all kids, they are small, and that's why their thinking level is also as per their age. And whatever they did was done out of thoughtlessness. They were not knowing what exactly they are doing. Wanda was usually seen wearing a faded blue dress that did not fit her properly. Though clean, it used to look unironed. This shows that Wanda belonged to a poor family who could not afford too many dresses. And ironically, a lot of people talked to her, but she didn't have any friends because all of them talked to her in order to make fun of her. From her tale about 100 dresses to her unfamiliar name, they found it all amusing. When she used to watch little girls play in the ground, it was at that time other students surrounded her to mock her. So this is how the girl was suffering because of the poverty, because of the, very simple nature, very silent nature, and a very simple external appearance too. With no intentions of hurting her, Peggy, who is one of the classmates, Peggy used to ask the number of dresses Wanda has in every polite and respectful tone. She was curious to know that. They made fun of her because they could not understand why she made up this story about 100 dresses. They did all this while being ignorant of the fact that it could hurt her. They did not realize that no one would believe believe her when she said she possessed 100 dresses. Now you just imagine, if she is coming in a very simple attire, she is coming in the same dress, how can anybody believe that she is having or she possesses 100 dresses? She says that all are lined up in her closet, but they could not believe, and that's why they are making fun of her. As the other girls screamed in astonishment, the little girls would stop playing in order to see what was going on. Wanda would affirm their queries that she had dresses made of velvet and silk too. Sadly, after she left, they all used to laugh at her. It was hard to believe what Wanda said because the only dress she was seen wearing was the blue one that was faded. No one was sure as to why she lied. They felt that she is lying, but whether she is actually lying or is it something else, we'll come to know. Although they were teasing her, they were never rude to her. Although they were teasing, they were never rude to her. Thus, in the same tone, they continued asking her about the number of shoes she said she had, and to which she replied 60, each pair different. Okay, so this is, the suspense about her life that these people are so curious to know about, and they cannot get the answer, and that's why they are more curious and they are, asking her and making fun of her. It was Peggy's idea to embarrass her like that. Though she was polite, Peggy and Maddie, the inseparable friends, were the last ones to leave school, while Wanda would go back all alone with her dull eyes and behaved in a strange way. Peggy was not the mean girl she had been portrayed as until now. She saved kids from whoever was hurting them and could not stand animals getting badly treated. According to her, she was not being rude to Wanda. Peggy was not rude to Wanda. She thought it was very weird of Wanda to lie about the number of dresses, and that's why she has, the problem which makes her to trouble Wanda. So she says that why she is lying, why she is lying about the number of the dresses she possessed. And if anything was a weirdo, it was her name, Wanda Petronsky. No matter how much they teased Wanda, it is very important to see that they never made her cry. Peggy was not the mean girl that we have seen, and why they did that also we came to know. Now, Maddie did not like the idea of making fun of the number of clothes and accessories Wanda possessed. Not because she cared about her, but because she was poor herself. Maddie herself was poor. She wore clothes that were given to her by someone else, but there is difference between Maddie and Wanda. She was not as poor as Wanda was. She did not live as Wanda lives in Boggins Heights. Okay, and She is not having a weird name as Wanda is having. So that is the difference between Maddie and Wanda Petronsky. Maddie didn't feel very comfortable teasing Wanda. And when Peggy, her very close friend, used to ask Wanda those questions, she would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. If that dress game hadn't been invented, Maddie would have never known about the very existence of Wanda. She felt uncomfortable, not because she cared about Wanda, but because she was worried that she can be the next person to be teased, or she could be the next target for these girls. Although she was not senseless enough to say she had 100 dresses, what she feels that Wanda is giving such a senseless answer, and I'm not like that. I won't be giving such an answer. She still wished that Peggy would stop. Peggy, her friend, would stop teasing Wanda. Wanda did not come that day, and after having waited for her so long, Maddie and Peggy got late for school. Maddie was secretly happy. Why? Because they could not get a chance to make fun of Wanda. Even she was not willing to make fun of her. She was lost in her own thoughts. Who? It is Maddie. And because of that, she could not study properly. All this time, she kept thinking about writing a note to Peggy, telling her to stop making fun of Wanda. Which she did write. She wanted to write, she did write after finishing arithmetic. She wanted to write a note because she knew she did not have guts to say it to her on her face. See, they are very close friends, but still she says that she is not having guts to say these things to her friend. While writing the note to Peggy, Maddie shook at the imagination of her being a new target for Peggy and the girls. Then she got afraid that they would ask her, or the girls would ask where she got that dress from, which was actually the dress given by Peggy. And what Maddie's mother has done, Maddie's mother got it transformed with new laces and ribbons so that none of her classmates could identify it. But she knows the reality that the dress is given by Peggy. She wished Peggy would stop having fun with Wanda on her own. Suddenly she ran her hand through her hair as a gesture to drive away all those thoughts. She said to herself, Peggy is the most liked girl in the room, her best friend, and so she couldn't be wrong. And thus she tore and threw that note away. The note which was saying that you stop teasing Wanda. She tore it and she threw it out. She was also afraid of losing her friend Peggy. After Maddie had cleared her thoughts about confessing to Peggy, she started thinking about Wanda. She thought that Wanda was just another girl living in Boggins Heights who hardly spoke to anybody. She remembers when Wanda talked about her pale blue dress and jungle green dress paired with a red sash. The girls made fun of her by saying that she would rather look like a Christmas tree in that dress. While thinking about Wanda, Maddie began thinking about the drawing contest in which the boys had to design motorboats and girls had to design dresses. So this is how the story comes to at a very interesting mood. Okay, let's see what happens. So here we come to know that there is a drawing contest and Maddie is thinking about that. Peggy was the obvious winner of the competition, because she was the best artist in the room. She could copy exact pictures and recognizable portraits. She was sure that Peggy would win, and results were to be announced the next day when everyone would know what's what. So they all must be very curious to know the results as well. The day when the results were to be announced, it was raining lightly, and thus the two best friends ran quickly to school without waiting for Wanda. Generally, they used to wait for her at Oliver Street, that led to Boggins Heights, the place where Wanda lived, but they didn't wait that day. Even if it wasn't raining that day, they wouldn't have waited for her because the day was crucial. The day was very important as the results were to be announced. The result of that contest or the competition. When the best friends entered the classroom, Peggy asked Maddie if Miss Masson would announce the results or not. To which Maddie said yes. Maddie was hoping that yes, today the result is going to be announced. And Maddie also told her that she believes that Peggy would win the contest. Okay. But to their utmost surprise, when they entered the class, there were drawings all over the room, bright and brilliant. They left everyone in awe. These were the drawings for the contest. Now, who is the person who has made all those drawings? Miss Masson announced the winners after everyone had settled. Now, who is the winner amongst the boys? It is Jack Beggles, who had won. He drew an outboard motor which was displayed in room number 12, along with drawings made by other boys. She then talked about girl submissions. She mentioned that there was one such girl who had submitted 100 designs, each so beautiful that the judges felt that any out of them was worthy of the gold medal. Miss Masson very proudly announced Wanda as the winner of the competition. She continued and sadly mentioned that Wanda has not been coming since days, hoping she would be there the next day. She instructed everyone to look at the flawless collection, to which everyone applauded and whistled. Okay, this is the flawless collection of the paintings made by a girl. Maddie and Peggy even saw the blue dress that Wanda had talked about, and it was beautiful. Peggy sighed. I thought I could draw. Now here she feels that even it would have been better if I could have, I could have been able to do like this, to draw the sketches or portraits like this. Which means when she says, I thought I could draw, which means that the drawings left her in immense admiration. So this is how we have seen part 1 of the text, the 100 dresses. What happens next, we will study in the next chapter or the next part of the same chapter, the 100 dresses, part 2. Thank you so much.